Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks, and it's another episode of Building Jabba's Palace, a Tatooine mock. And we're going to be concentrating today on the Rancor Pit and the Rancor housing and the corridor bit here. Now what we're going to be doing is doing rock work all the way on the inside here. There's going to be an archway for the door, and that's the door which hits the Rancor on the head. And also, this is the room where the Rancor is kept beforehand, and then that's the corridor where the Rancor keeper looks through and watches the Rancor come to its demise. So we're going to be doing a different technique than what we did on the back cave. So we're going to be using a snot technique for the walls on here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get the framework put up, just to show you what it's going to be like, and then we'll check back in once we've done so. So let's get to it. As you can see, there's a row of snot bricks all the way along the bottom there, and there's one brick below the snot brick. Reason for this, if we put a tile on top of the plate just there, and then get a plate and stick it to the snot brick, it's continuous, so there's no gap in between the two. Now what we can do is we can build our rock work on the plate here using the snot technique and build the rock work outwards. We use this technique on certain parts of the back cave, but it was mainly over doors and things like that. However, this entire section is going to be that technique the whole way throughout. So what we need to do now is build the walls all the way up, get to the height of what the Rancor Pit needs to be, and we'll check back in once we've made some more progress. The walls are coming along quite nicely now. We're up to our second snot brick. There needs to be 4 bricks in between each 2 snot bricks in order for the plates to sit on flush on there. The hole in the wall there, that's going to be, I'm going to be building outwards so that when somebody falls through the trapdoor, they'll fall through a hole and it will come back into the Rancor Pit. So I'm going to build that separately afterwards. Now I'm going to pull this wall here and here up, and the reason being, I've gone for the snot technique, I can actually go down by 1 brick. And on the door that comes down and hits the Rancor on the head, the bottom of the door got like some little not teeth, but a funny shape to them, and they would actually sit in the floor when the door is shut. So I just want to put a little detail in the floor there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the walls up, remove the mills plates just below the walls, and leave that bit empty so I can put that detail in at a later stage. The walls are now up to the height that we want them to be for the Rancor Pit and the Rancor housing area. One thing that we've done is remove the floor, as mentioned before, so we can do some finer details in there for where the door comes down. What I need to do now is concentrate on this area here. With the layout that we're going to be having, we're going to have a prison cell here for Han and Chewie to be kept in, and these are just going to be 2 corridors, and then above this is going to be the droid torture room. Now, for support reasons, I would like to build the floor, the ceiling and the floor along there into that wall to give it a little bit extra support. So what I don't want to be doing is sort of having to rip this wall apart. So I think what I'm going to do now is concentrate on doing that area just down there, so we can get the floor on, and then I know that this wall here I'm not going to have to disturb going forward. So it's going to put a little bit of a delay on doing the inside of this bit here, but I think it's the best way forward so we don't have to keep knocking things down. The problem that we had with the back cave. So we're learning from our mistakes on this, so hopefully there won't be as much destruction as there was on that one. And here we are at Han and Chewie's cell, and we're going for dark brown and the reddish brown for the colours. And what I've done here, I've got 3 plates which add up to obviously 1 brick, and we're going to pop that on there, and that's just going to be for a bed. So I'm going to tile the top of that off, so it's just something really basic, but just adds another little detail in there. Obviously we've got the doorway here, and you'll be able to look into the cell from here. One thing I am considering doing is in the ceiling putting a circular hole. What I want to do then is put a light further back here, so some light just illuminates through there and down into it. As you can see from this picture on screen, there is light shining down on Han and Chewie. Now where we've got the light coming through from here, it might not work, the effect, but we're going to try it anyway. And also putting the circular part on the ceiling will also give a little bit more accuracy to what's happening, what you see in the film. I'm only going to go about 5 or 6 bricks high, because obviously Han and Chewie are close to banging their heads in the room. So again, we won't be going much higher on there. But what we're going to do now is just carry on building the walls up and see how it looks. So I've put the tiles all the way around the top of the roof, and that means that I can now do my snot roof, and then the bricks can just lie on top of it. Now these bricks here are just 1 shy of being the right length, and what I'm contemplating doing is knocking part of this wall down here and putting some snot bricks just in there, so I can then attach the roof to it so it's not going to actually go anywhere. I'm going to need to build a floor out of this wall here to go all the way across, because that's where the droid torch room is going to be on the top here. So I need to be able to have some studs on top of that. And here is our roof section. And what we've got is a tile, obviously, on that side there. And I've made this up, which is 2 arches, and I put a tile on this end of the tile. And the 2 are just connected using Technic pins. Now I need to order in some arches, and what I did notice with on the picture of or a bit of the footage from Return of the Jedi was when the light was coming through, there was a beam across there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and replace those 2 pegs with a Technic beam or a Technic plate, and just use a 2 long axle piece in either side there, so I can get it all snug in there. That just clips into there, so that fits in nicely. And then when we bring this over to the mock, it will just place on like so, and the light will come in from that side there. And when you look in, you can see there is a bit of a shadow there, and that shadow will hopefully be the same as what it is in the film with the line going across. So yeah, it's all come along quite nicely. Run out a couple of dark bricks on here, so I've used these black ones, so when I order in the pieces that I need, the right colour arches, we can get that all sorted out. What I want to be able to do though is make sure that I can get to this to sort it all out quite easily. So I might postpone building on top of here to start with, unless I can just slide it out like so. And we've also put a clip brick on this part here, that way we can run a pipe of some description across the room just to add a little bit more detail to it. So I'm pleased with how that room is looking at the moment. I still need to do the door frame on there. One thing I'm not that happy about at the moment are these walls here, the corridor walls. They're not at all how I was envisioning them to be, and what I think I'm going to do is go for the same technique as what I'm doing in the Rancor Pit and do a snot technique on the walls there. So I'm going to rip these out, put the snot bricks in, build it all around, and then see what it's looking like. And I'm just working on the doorway to the entrance to the housing for the Rancor. So this section here is where the Rancor Keeper would look into the Rancor Pit. And if you look at the picture just on the screen now, you can see that the doorway has slopes, and there's also an archway in the background. So I need to put an arch just over here on that wall there, so that wall's got to come down. For the doorway, I put some jumper plates down there, and then I'm going to put these inverted slopes on the jumper plates. This is going to enable me to have a doorway that's 3 bricks wide, and then I can slide a door into the gap between it, so the door will be 1 brick wide. Once we put some plates on here and then start doing the rock work, it should merge in quite nicely, and we might be able to overlap part of the doorway there. And I've been searching for this piece here in my Lego collection, and it's to go in the door where the Rancor Keeper looks through, because there's a bit of a grill there. Not sure if it's going to look right or not, but we can have a look, have a play, see what it comes out like, and then make a decision from there. So whilst looking, we came across these pieces here. So I've got 2 of those and 1 of those, and I'm thinking about putting that in the roof section to Han's cell, and I think that way I won't need to order the parts in, and I can actually get that finished today. So before I go any further with doing this bit, I'm just going to get that roof section all done and see what it comes out like. And here we have the jail cell roof, and we've got all the bricks now, so we don't need to actually order any in. So I'm really pleased that we managed to find those. So that will just go on like so, and now we can build all the way around it. We don't need to wait for there. And as you can see inside, there's a nice shadow there, the circular bit, which is what I was after following the scenes from Return of the Jedi. So really pleased with the detail that's come out with. We can now work on the door, which was what we were doing before we found those black arches. So yeah, let's get back to doing what we were originally doing. So for the door, we've started off with a 4x1 plate and some modified 2x1 plates. We then got the 3 long black bar, and we're going to stick those in all 4 of the holes. So the 4 bars now in the modified plates. We're now going to slide another modified plate halfway down. We're now going to put another one of the modified plates on the top on both sides. We've then got a 1x4 plate and also put some grill pieces on the top. So now we've got the plate on top along with the grill, and that's just purely for a smooth finish. I've then got 2 bricks and 1 plate again that goes on the bottom. So that's what the door will look like mainly. Now we wanted a better finish to that, so what I've done is I've put some tile along the side and attached it to a plate like so, and again the same on the other side. So as you can see, I've just added 1 more layer of plate along this edge, and this is going to be the same colour as what the walls are going to be within the Rancor Pit. And here is a slight mock-up. It's going to be inside, so this is what the wall's going to look like. So we've made it 3 bricks wide, and we've elevated it by 1 level. Now this adds up to 6 studs in width. So we've now put a bar across the top there, and that's just purely to keep these 2 slopes in place. Now what we need to do is place all of that in there. Now no studs are actually going to be attached to anything, so it's just going to be in there loose. So the door is now in there, and as you can see, it's all nice and snug. However, it is just purely being kept in by gravity. So now we put a plate in across the top, which is keeping it all in place that way. And at the moment, it can fall out to the front. So what we need to do is put the slopes in on this side. Now, the good thing with the door to the Rancor Pit is the door opens upwards, so it goes up through the roof. So here's the first look at the doorway, and I'm not 100% happy. I think the bars are going across too far. So I'm going to take the door out, rebuild it, and see if it looks any better. As you can see, it's getting there. Still not happy with it, and I'm not happy with the archway on the top, so I think we're going to lose that and just brick that across. So let's make those changes and see what it looks like next. And here is a revised door, and due to going with just 2 bars in the centre, I don't need a brown line along the edge, because previously there was the bars there, and I just wanted a brown edge to make it look like there was a frame around it. So I can actually do this entire door section as 1 brick built, so there's no snot technique required. So what we can do, we can now just slide this into the mock and see if it looks any better. And there it is in place, and I'm really happy with the look of that. One thing I think I will change is the grey around the edges and go for a darker colour, whether it's black or the dark brown. And here's the door with a black surround now instead of the dark blue grey, and I think that's going to work a little bit better. And there is the door for the Rancor Pit, where the Rancor Keeper can get in and out. So that's all finished now, so we can now build the wall up above it. And one thing I'm wondering about is whether or not to put a mechanism on there so the door can actually open and close by either a lever or by turning a cog or something like that. As you can see, due to the way that I've made it, it can actually slide up and then drop down again. So we could move it up and down, but whether or not we want to have the headache of making that mechanism, I don't know. But yeah, it's something to consider. And just checking in one final time for this update. And as you can see, all of the walls are now been panelled off, and it's making it look a lot better already. And we've even done the same out here in the corridor on those walls as well. So yeah, all looking good. Now we're just got to decide what we're going to do with the door there, whether or not we're going to make some mechanism so it can come up and down or not. So that's the next thing I've got to decide upon. And once we decide that, I can decide how I'm going to bridge the gap between these two here. We've got to put a floor across here, so I've got to work out whether or not this is the right way of going about it, because the floor needs to be suspended on something. Obviously we've got the wall in the middle here, and it will be the same over here. So that's the next thing to work out. But yeah, I thought I'd just check in this one last time. But pleased with the progress that's been made this week, especially with the prison cell. That's all been done now. Need to get an order in, get some parts in. So in the next episode, we'll be concentrating on this section here. So this is where the chamber is going to be, where when the trapdoors are opened, Luke will fall through and then into the Rancor Pit in that part. So we're going to be concentrating on the rock work as well next week, over the next week as well, getting this all detailed up. And once I've done that, I'm also going to be doing a tutorial video on the different rock works, because obviously we've got the rock works, how I'm doing it on this mock, but also the one that I've done on the back cave as well. So 2 totally different techniques, and it'd be good to, I thought it'd be good to, and interesting for people to see how we go about doing that. But yeah, anyway, hope you've enjoyed this update. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, give it a big thumbs up, and please share it with your family and friends. Thanks for popping on by. See you next time. Bye for now.